Hey guys, Kevin, Muddy River Tactical. Thank you for joining me. Today we have the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 4-inch 9mm. So they make this gun in a 3.6, a 4-inch, then they make the full size like 4 1/4 and even 5-inch. But today we got the 4-inch with the optic ready and the tall sights. So over the years I've shot a lot of guns, but this is one series I've never really shot that much. I've shot maybe once, and I never really gave it a chance to like it or not. There's just all the other guns around, so there's no particular reason, and not that I didn't like how it felt or anything like that. I just never really gave it a chance. So I was looking through the shop the other day and holsters coming in, and I see a lot of orders for these coming through, so I'm like, well, I need to order one and give it a chance. So I got it in, and first impressions of it are really good. Actually, the grip texture on it is pretty aggressive, which for a more full-size kind of duty-driven gun, which I think is more what these are for. I mean, it could be used as a concealed carry gun, but it's just barely on the big spectrum for me, but that doesn't mean you can't. The one thing that would hinder this gun for me for concealed carry is how aggressive this grip is right here. Feels awesome for shooting, and for duty use and range use, it would be great, but I personally wouldn't like it too much for concealed carry, as I wouldn't want that rubbing against my skin. I mean, it's pretty aggressive. So that would be the one downside to this pistol for the concealed carry wise. So I took this thing to the range, and at first, you know, I felt it, I'm like, yeah, it feels pretty good, but I don't know, there wasn't a ton that intrigued me too much. It's got the regular stock sights on it that are tall on this version, and they work surprisingly well. So everybody, no matter what pistol, Glock, SIG, M&P, they all just fit different in people's hands. And I gotta say, after taking this thing to the range, I don't think I gave it a chance early enough, because some of these guns I struggle to shoot well. Just your hand size, how you grip the gun, just everything's got to play together to fit you personally right. And this gun, from the time I picked it up in the first mag, has shot surprisingly well. It just fits in the target acquisition and how it fits in my hand, and enough texture. I shot it very good and very accurately, very quickly. These tall sights on it are super good. I'm gonna end up putting an optic on this gun. I didn't for the initial review, just because, like I said, I haven't shot one of these for a long time, and even then it wasn't the 2.0 series, I don't think. So I didn't know if it was gonna be a gun I kept around, so I didn't want to go through putting an optic on it and everything just to do a 100 or 200 rounds through it for a review to take it right back off. So I just ran it this way, and we ended up putting about 350 or so rounds through it today. I just started shooting and just liked it more and more. I mean, this tells you how much I didn't know if I was gonna like it or not. I'm a left-handed shooter, and this mag release is swappable, but I didn't even swap it just because I didn't want to take the time to swap it. I didn't know if I was gonna keep it and train with it or not. So during this video, you'll see some of the reloads and stuff. I just messed with reloading even though the mag's on the opposite side, which honestly I do every once in a while anyways, just because if you're in some type of situation and had somebody else's gun, you know, worst case scenario, you want to be able to use that pistol. So I still play with it and try it every once in a while to reload, and so they're slower than normal, but I definitely working on it for sure. But this gun, we shot, like I said, 350 rounds, super accurate. I mean, this is hard for me to say because there's a lot of guns I like out there, but for a full-size gun, this was the most natural aiming gun to me. It didn't take long at all to kind of figure it out, and the grip that worked good. And with, like I said, first mag, I was hitting a huge percentage of the targets, you know, 80-90% around, and then after 100 rounds is just natural. It's like a gun I've been shooting for years. So I think they've done a really good job. The slide serrations on it, I always rack the gun from the front. The front slide serrations aren't exactly my favorite. I wish they came back farther, especially with this front sight. When you go to rack the pistol off the front, you're like right over that tall front sight, where I'd rather it come right here, but it's still doable and possible. It's just kind of a little nitpick thing. Texture wise, for concealed carry, I would complain about it, but for a range use, duty use, even outside the waist carry where this isn't gonna contact your skin, I like the texture a lot. The trigger is one of those things when I first picked it up, it's got the trigger safety and then that take up. And the take up, you can kind of hear is, it's a little grungy take up, and then the brake is super good. But this is after 350 rounds through it. When I first picked up the gun, the take up was still the same, but the brake was, I don't know, it just didn't feel good at all. So that's a prime example of why you really need to get these guns and put them through their paces and break them in before you can fully judge it. Because if I only shot this gun 20 or 30 times, I may tell you that the trigger sucked, and then after 350 rounds, it's like this and really good. Nothing I can complain about, so then I'd be giving you bad information. But the reset on it, you can see right there, is super quick, and then right back to that wall. The trigger's very good, and that kind of surprised me, because for the Smith & Wessons that I have shot quite frequently, you know, the shields and stuff like that, the triggers were never my favorite per se. They weren't bad, but they weren't great either. I think they've done a really good job on this trigger, and I can't complain about that at all. The controls on it, the mag release is swappable, which we've already talked about. I didn't swap it just because I didn't know if I was gonna shoot it enough to justify taking the time to do it. Now that I like this gun, I'm gonna end up keeping it and shoot with it more and do a 1,000 round review. So in the next video, the mag release will be swapped so I can do better reloads and actually train with it like I should be as a left-handed shooter. This one has the thumb safety on it. You can get them with or without the thumb safety. Most of them I see have the thumb safety on them, which I'm not necessarily a fan of safeties, but for me, I just leave it off, and it's not in the way of anything. And then it's like not having a safety anyways, and if you ever had to, you can put it on, but I just leave it off all the time and don't worry about it. The controls on it are, the controls are all ambi, so the safety we just talked about, it's on both sides. The slide release is on both sides, but here is a gripe on the slide release. So this is after 350 rounds, that slide release. I mean, it takes everything I got to push that down for a left-handed shooter. But if you go to the other side, it's easy. So for a typical right-handed shooter, the slide release works really good. For me as a left-handed shooter, it doesn't work so well. So that's just personal preference if you use it for that application or not. Me, for reloads and stuff, I always go from the front, so it's not a huge deal, but I definitely want to bring it up for those left-handed shooters out there. If you manipulate your gun and at reload you use the bar release to put the slide back down, it's super difficult, and I don't think you're going to be able to efficiently do it, because like I said, this is 350 rounds, and it damn near all I can do to do it on the side for a left-handed shooter. Magazine wise, it comes with two 15-round magazines, which is perfectly adequate. I think that's a good in-between round. You know, some of these guns now have 20 rounds or so, but that also adds to the weight of it. So there's always that give and take there on what your purpose is and what you need for it. I do believe you can get bigger extended mags for these, but for its purpose, I think they're perfectly adequate there. The optic plate on it, I think I'm gonna try a Trigicon on this. I'm a huge Holosun fan, but I see a lot of guys carrying these for duty use, security use, things like that are in a little different environment than average concealed carry use a lot of times. So I'm gonna put a Trigicon on there and try it. I've shot Trigicon in the past. I typically use Holosun for my everyday carry stuff, but I think personally, if I was using it as a duty gun, I think the Trigicon just gives you a little more durability. Not that the Holosun's not durable, but I think in that situation, the Trigicon may be a little bit better. So we'll put that Trigicon on there and try it in the next video. But if you have this gun, definitely let me know in the comments section below. Let me know how you like it or what your thoughts on it. In my personal opinion, you know, this is a competitor to the Glock 19 and different guns in that category. In my opinion, this beats the Glock 19 by a long shot. And the Glock 19 is a great gun, but the ergonomics on the Glock aren't as good as what this is. The trigger's not as good, and they're at the same price point. And match that with, I like that they put, especially for a duty gun, concealed carry, you can debate back and forth, but for a duty size gun that could be used for that application, I'm a huge fan and proponent of having co-witness sights with your optic. So I like that it's already got tall sights that are perfectly good. So pop the optic on there, they'll co-witness and you won't have any issues at all. So we will be doing a 1,000 round review on this video probably in the next 3 or 4 weeks. We got a lot of 1,000 round review videos coming up with the new Echelon and a lot of other guns. So we'll try to get it as fast as we can. But I definitely think the M&P market is one that I've missed a little bit. And I see why they do sell. You know, they're a mass-produced gun, but with Smith & Wesson, you get the customer service and quality behind it. Like I said, every brand you can knock back and forth, but Smith & Wesson, just like Glock, has a track record of reliability, which is the main thing. Specialty duty, but concealed carry, everything. Without reliability, you don't have anything. So let me know your thoughts below. If you need any holsters for this or any of your other pistols, check us out at muddyrivertactical.com. We're always there to get you taken care of. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section below or email us at support@muddyrivertactical.com. Until next time, keep practicing and always be prepared.